Hello, everyone. Dr. Ames here. I'd like to make some comments about the material in Chapter 3 that I hope will help you out. Certainly, we're talking about a lot of information here on the various laws and so forth that affect us as HR professionals. Um, this really is important because it makes the framework that we use to do everything that we do as HR managers. Um, and so the laws in the past history are very important in the sense that they give us something to hang on to. It gives us a way to see how we've come a long way over time, and that really the things that we do in HR are based on basic human rights, and it all started back in the early history of the country. One good way to sort of organize your thinking about all these laws and so forth is to divide it up into three parts. There certainly are a few amendments, and then there's a body of legislation or laws, and then we have some executive orders that are also important. And so this is a nice framework, a way to divide up your thinking on it. When we think about the amendments, certainly the most important are the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, and the 14th Amendment, which followed fairly close afterwards, which gave citizenship to anyone born in the country, which reaffirmed citizenship for former slaves, and so forth. When it comes to laws, we just have many, many of them, and it's important that we understand the basic substance, even if we can't remember the specific dates and so forth. Certainly, the Civil Rights Acts of 1866 and 1871 are extremely important because they reaffirm those basic human rights that we take for granted today, that all people are equal, that we cannot discriminate against people based on their race or religion and so forth. And so these two acts in particular reaffirmed what we found in the 13th, but particularly the 14th Amendment. And then, of course, we have other laws that are much more contemporary, certainly the most important of which has to be the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which is usually referred to as Title VII, which is that particular section of the law. And then this established the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, what we know as the EEOC, and this further lays out our basic rights as individuals in the workplace. And so, as HR professionals, we certainly are concerned with these things. We have to operate within this legal framework, and it certainly helps to know what the laws are and how we got to where we are today. In addition to Title VII, we've had a number of laws that have come along over time that deal with the rights of veterans, that deal with the rights of people of certain ages, that deal with discrimination, religion, and so forth. Many, many laws. In fact, today, one of the most important ones in the workplace, and you will deal with this if you're an HR manager of any type, is the Family Medical Leave Act and so forth. And then one of our newest laws that really extends protection to people so they can't be discriminated against for their genetic information is the GINA laws of just a few years ago. So, besides the legislation and so forth, we also have executive order. And probably one of the noteworthy ones is the one from President Kennedy, which did establish the EEOC. And so forth, or excuse me, this established the affirmative action programs. Now, this was in the mid 60s, so the affirmative action has been with us quite a long time, and it's still fairly controversial. So it's best that you understand these topics and what's going on with them. Now, in addition to this material, it's also important that you understand the real differences between disparate treatment and disparate impact, because these are at the source of so many discrimination lawsuits that we do have in the workplace. And you should need to know what a BFOQ is as well. Um, and any basic terms that you find in the chapter. This is really the nuts and bolts of what you need to operate efficiently. So it is just one of those things that you need to do, and it's mainly memorization, I know. One thing that will help is if you'll use the PowerPoint I placed for you on the website. That'll certainly make a difference. It follows along closely with the chapter material, and I think it has a lot of helpful information. That's all I've got for this time. Thank you.